Hello friends, this is Doug. Welcome to Third Stall Garage. This is episode 20 in the restoration of a 1966 Beetle convertible named Hendrick. Don't get dizzy. Dale, good friend of mine, and I are working on restoring this. Is his car. He let me tear it apart. Today in this episode, we're going to be working on door gaps on the driver door. We have some major gap issues we're working on fixing, and we've got some pretty aggressive steps that we're going to take. Follow along, let's see how it goes.
But you can see from the line, you know, it's not
the door
the same.
Is low.
And so the whole thing drops. So I'd love to get that figured out. And of course it sits out.
It's a little proud down here.
And I don't know, you know,
but
is
it doesn't,
the door torqued? I don't know.
It doesn't ride up as it latches though. So that's a good sign. It's not like the whole thing is sagging and the latch is what's lifting it back up.
Mm-hmm.
All right, our task tonight is we want to make a cut in the bottom of the car here so that this stays attached by the Napoleon hat. And we're gonna make a cut on the outside between this piece and the heater channel. We also are gonna make a cut on the inside all the way along here, all the way across the bottom, detaching this part of the inner fender well. What would you call that? Fender well?
Yeah.
Then what we want to do is we want to mechanically push this forward, at the same time lifting it up slightly until we get the door gaps that we want. Once we have the door gaps that we want, we don't have an interference fit there or too small of a gap here, we're going to put a brace inside the car to tie it together and then weld it back up. Never done this before. We don't know what we're doing, so wish us luck. All right, the cutting is done. I didn't film it all because it was a lot harder than I thought. I ended up cutting out this homemade radius piece. It's a bunch of different patches put together. You can see we cut an access hole now. There's a remnant. The old piece in there, and the tube stops right there. So you can see why Dale had no heat out the top. So we'll have to clean that out and attach the new tube. But we are cut all the way from here, all the way around the other side. The last little bit that we cut, all of a sudden this thing doinked out about 1/16 of an inch. If you look now, we can everything is a little flexible. So we're gonna put the door back on and start shimming and moving and seeing what we can do. Okay, here's what we're trying to do. The door's back in. We've successfully cut all the way to there. So we're thinking at this point, this whole piece is loose and should, in effect, as we pry up, should kind of rotate on a pivot point right here. That's our theory. The other question that we have is right here is the bulkhead or the Napoleon hat. If we put a bolt in here and the gas tank bolt, if we pull with a ratchet strap, that should move, kind of collapse this forward a little bit. We don't have it attached here. We might see the nose move forward a little bit as well. So because we cut that, the whole A-pillar can sag a little bit, which makes sense because we notice that our door is a touch lower right now. Dale, can you hold that a bit? So in theory, if I lift up on the door, the whole A-pillar should move. So you can see the windshield moving a little bit. So we're gonna start moving and tweaking and pulling and see what effect that has. Making progress, slowly. So what we've done is our gap here is much wider. We've accomplished that. This is probably just over a 1/4 inch. We've also pulled the door up a little bit. How have we done that? We did it by 2 things. One is I've got a wedge driven there that drove the A-pillar up, I don't know, 1/16 of an inch. The second thing that we did is we put 2 bolts in the gas tank holes and put ratchet straps around the A-pillar. Those are tight. And we could see as we ratcheted those tight, that back corner of the door go up a little bit. So we are moving in the right direction, but we are not there yet. Ideally, what we want is for this surface to be quite high, this gap to be maybe 3/8 of an inch, this gap to be about 1/4 of an inch, so we can shim that upper door, giving us this gap we want, and also getting this to drop into place. So we're not there yet. I think it's going to be a combination of figuring out how do we pull this A-pillar forward, maybe with straps, maybe with a hammer and a board down there. And we're just going to have to hit the metal, pull it, shock it, bend it, tweak it until we get closer. This point, I don't think we've done anything that we can't undo yet. So we'll keep trying. All right, so this is a little jank, but we're gonna try to hit it, shock it in place a little bit and see if it stays. I'm gonna watch this hinge and see if it moves. My gap is about 300 thousandths right now. Ready? 340 thousandths.
Shut up.
Moved it 40 thousandths.
I didn't think it would work.
For the record, Dale didn't think my idea would work.
Doug, you were right. For what?
We're about 320 if I measure right at that body line. All right, so truth be told, we tried this off camera because we were a little unsure of whether it would work or what its effects would be or whether it was even a good idea and whether we wanted to admit to it. But our theory is we want to kind of bend the front of the car to get it to stay a little bit where we need it to be, as opposed to those little ratchet straps just holding it so tight. Even if we weld it in place, all that tension is going to be in the body. So we wanted to kind of overstretch it a little bit and then let it relax back. We weren't able to do that with those ratchet straps. So
Persuader.
We decided to go a little bit more heavy duty, and this is my high lift jack from my Jeep days. So we put a couple little wooden boards against the door hinge so that the bottom of the jack goes against the top hinge. And then we put a 4x4 against the B pillar to kind of distribute the load. Sorry, I gotta lock the jack again. To distribute the load against the B pillar. Now I'm on the wrong side of the handle. So then what we did is just simply jacked the two apart. And right about there, I don't know if there's a way to zoom in on it, but if you can, I'll try digitally to zoom in, but the quality will be horrible, sorry. Right on the bottom, or maybe you can see the windshield, there's a lot of flexing. That's moving the whole A-pillar, maybe 3/8 of an inch up and back at the bottom. So we did that a couple times. I'm gonna take it off. Got it. We did that a couple times, flexed it a bit, then took it off and let it relax. And our gap here now is huge. Which, to be honest, I think is making Dale nervous. He won't admit it.
Lucky shirt, lucky shirt.
Don't lean on it. You're messing it up. We are at wrong spot. We're at about 580 now. So we're about 200 thousandths past where we needed to be. So now I'd like to take those ratchet straps off.
Yeah.
And let's see how much it relaxes. Okay, ratchet straps are off. We have not shimmed the top door yet. And we are back down to 290. So 290 is higher than the 145 we were originally. So we have moved things, but not to the point where it will stay in the relaxed position. So I think that means we do need to pry up on the bottom and pull somewhat on the ratchet strap before we brace and weld things back together. That's our theory now, a working theory. All right, it is the end of a Wednesday night for us, but we're feeling pretty happy about things. Our rear door gap, we are just a little bit over a 1/4 inch, not quite 3/8 there, so we're a little wide there. And it drops down to, I think, 180 thousandths, so we're a little narrow there. So we're a whole lot closer, but it's not perfect yet. So ideally, we want the bottom of the door to go that way, top of the door to go that way a touch. We do have a 62 thousandths shim in there. And now we are to the point where we've got a gap all the way down and a gap all the way down there. That's a little wider there, but not too bad. So we are definitely closer. Our body lines are pretty good that way. Our door is a little proud on the bottom, so we need to adjust that hinge inward. Next week, we're gonna probably try to get it a little closer by maybe trying to move that hinge forward, take it apart, tap on it with a hammer, and then maybe pry the whole A-pillar up just a bit to bring, as this goes down, because that goes forward, pry it up a little bit, which will bring our body line back up. Something like that, but we'll mess with it again next week, which will be soon for you. Hello, so you saw us hit the bottom of the bottom hinge a little bit. We cut out a little more relief on the fender. And then we did a little sanding or filing to make room for this shim here. And now our gap is fantastic. We are at about 260, 270 up top. We're 251 on the bottom, which there's no way to measure it that precisely, but we are pretty much dead nuts on a 1/4 inch. But I don't know if you can see, tapping the bottom in did drop the door down a little bit. So it makes sense that the door moved this way and the bottom moved that way. So it rotated like this. So our gap line is just this is a little bit lower than this is. So we are gonna try to, seeing as we have this A-pillar cut, I've got a shim on the bottom here, and I'm gonna work on prying that up. Where'd the hammer go? And Dale's gonna watch this until we get this body line exactly where we want it to be.
Yeah, it was going up. I think it's there. No farther.
All right.
So, I don't know.
We are happy with that. It's not even that late on a Wednesday.
There's plenty of time to do stuff right.
We can screw stuff up yet. We are to the point where we're gonna start reattaching the A-pillar. So this is a spot that will be hidden by this radius piece. Maybe not this one, we might make a new one. So I'm gonna re-weld this gap along here as best I can. And then I think we'll take this wedge and the straps and everything off and just make sure that the A-pillar hasn't moved and that the door still fits the way that we want. Okay, we have welded about 6 inches in there, welded a spot there, and about 3 inches there. So we are about to take this wedge off, this come along strap, and that come along strap. When I started welding this body line here, this was a touch high. Now when I'm done welding, it's lined up very, very well. So the moment of truth, when we take the straps off, go ahead, Dale, you want to take that one off? Will it sag further or not? Back stuck. All right, moment of truth. Crud, we're low.
Yeah.
Bummer. We dropped. I mean, it's close,
yeah.
but we did drop a touch. Crud. All right, we gotta scratch our heads. Dale, how we feeling?
Oh, we're great.
All right, so here's where we are. I'm excited to let you know that our gap is just a shade under a 1/4 inch there, and right about at a 1/4 inch here. Our gap lines up, our body lines line up there. Our curve of the door matches nicely. We took the door off and I took a body hammer very gently to this gap. So we have, it's a little hard to see, but a much nicer gap through there. Our gap here is a little thinner than our gap down here, but it is what it is. We also have all the straps off and it is sitting in its natural position. You know, our sight line from the top, if Dale were to move his hand, you know, that looks pretty good. Our gap from the door to the 1/4 looks pretty good. So we are feeling pretty good about it. Once we get things done, paint, back stuff, we can mess with shims if we have to get the door aligned. We also realize that if I put my weight on the front here, we get a lot of movement in the back of the door. So, you know, worst case, we can do some adjustment here as well. So now our task is just to clean up. I'm gonna finish welding this up while Dale does some grinding inside. And then we will weld this along here, as well as clean this up and put this carpet radius back in. There is a chunk of old piece in here we'll probably cut out. And then Dale's gonna run the heater tube from the heater channel up while we have access to this. And then we'll put this patch back in. So, not gonna film this part because we just got a lot of grinding and welding to do. But, man, compared to where we started, oh, that feels good.
I remember earlier in this video, which was 3 weeks ago for us, the door wouldn't even shut.
The door was hitting.
Yeah.
And
That was depressing.
it was binding up right here. So we had,
In the corner.
oh, that's right. And then it wouldn't close in the corner. So,
That wasn't my favorite day.
no, we're feeling better now. Time to go celebrate. Hello friends, welcome back. It is Monday night this week and we're working on, it's our one night to work on it. Progress so far. Is this area is all welded back in. We still have our access hole for the heater tube, which we'll work on soon. Dale's working on the gusset that goes in here. We got a lot of cleaning up to do. On the outside here, I made a relief cut there and up there, and we pushed this back in. So this area was flush. Now I've uncrimped this lip, and because it did not look right, I think I'm going to try to put a little tack weld back there. Then we will fix this ugly joint and this ugly joint, crimp this back around, and then try to weld up that and weld up this joint in such a way that you can't see that that was there. Don't quite know for sure how that's gonna work. That's what we're working on now. All right, it is it's getting late and we are wrapping up for the night, but I think in an ideal world we would love to have gotten this whole thing done tonight, but we did not. What we did accomplish though, this joint is fixed, welded shut. We pulled most of this dent out. And then we were both a little intimidated by this joint here, particularly this pinch edge here. So we were able to unbend this, bent this whole edge out, fixed the interior, welded some missing gaps, bent it back over, and then yeah, pinched it back down, welded this up all the way across, ground it back. It blew through about 5 times and re-welded it. and we're really happy with how that's turning out, particularly on this side, because we still have that factory edge of that pinch weld the whole way down, and the curve of the, you know, the profile of the car we feel really good about. So someday we hope to get an extra Saturday in and put this gusset in, and Dale did a great job tonight making the inside of this. So this will go in, get welded in place there. And this will go in on top of it. And it will look like that. All right, till next week. All right. I always say all right. This bottom of the driver A-pillar is just about done. Look at that. It looks so nice. Dale has done some great grinding work. Thanks, Dale.
Thank you.
I'm getting better at welding. He's getting better at grinding. So we have the gusset in here. We moved it over from the original. The original, you can see the line was right there, which blocked that hole. We think there's supposed to be about a 1/2 inch gap here. Gusset goes all the way around. We decided to leave a secret door here that will give us access to that heater hose. We're probably going to paint that to match the body, 4 sheet metal screws, and that way if we ever need to get in there, we will be able to. Feeling really good about how this is turning out. We also welded up a few screw holes where they attach the carpet, because I think we might go a different direction in how the carpet's attached. The last piece we have to do on this driver's side yet is the carpet strip with a clamp. What's it called? Track?
We'll look at it, whatever Wolfsburg West calls it. Carpet clamp? I think.
Or something like that, that goes in here all the way up. So that will get welded in and then painted, and then it will clamp down onto the carpet. So today's Monday night. We're going to be back Saturday working on it again, squeeze in an extra day this week. And hopefully that will wrap up this episode completely. Thanks for following along. We are happy with the way this came out. It so much better than it was. Not perfect, so much better than it was. Dale and I were just talking. So if some of you have done this before, you might have been screaming, no, don't put the carpet rail in. We decided, we had the idea, probably Dale's idea, he's smart. We're not going to put the carpet rail in now. We are going to wait until right before it goes to the paint shop, because we would hate to carefully put that in and then me lose my balance and step on it and crimp it and bend it, because we're going to be in and out of the car a ton yet. So I think that is wrapped up for now. So thanks for following along and being part of Third Stall Garage. Have a great day. Go find your neighbor and say something nice to him. Have a good day. Bye.